Charlie Morton? What? Yeah. Right when we go live, John Heyman of the New York Post just reported that Charlie Morton, who is, I think, as old as me.
Let's say youth movement.
Youth movement has been traded as well. So welcome to the Tiger Minor League Report Trade Deadline Special here at TigersMLReport.com. I'm Rogelio Castillo. Beside me is Uper. Chris should be along shortly, I believe, and then Mike Papchuk will be joining us as well. And yeah, I mean, it just happened, so we'll see what the return is. But looks like
I gotta believe that they're cheap on that one. I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's interesting. He pitched the other day, and I watched some of it, and you know, he's still got a little bit of what he had left. You know, when he was really good in Tampa and so on, but you can just tell it's not as sharp as it used to be. He's down a little bit velo wise. We'll see. I mean, if they're just trying to get through the season, then he's going to help them a little, I guess.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, there's a contingency of fans that are upset. I saw a lot of negativity online, and I have to step away from that for a second and just look at it from a 10,000 foot view here. The Tigers were, I think we've said this since day one, the Tigers were not going to do anything flashy. That's not what they were going to do. They were going to be conservative. They were not going to allow to trade their prospects.
Yep.
However, you look at what San Diego and the Yankees have done. I mean, holy cow. And Houston, too. Like, there's a lot of winners and all that. But the guys who the Tigers picked up, to me, are kind of puzzling. And we'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about who the Tigers picked up. And that's where I have some concerns, because Charlie Morton pickup is fine. Like, you know, but there's just a lot of things that are hanging up in here. And I just wrote an article. Somebody said, well, you're being optimistic. I'm also calling out the fact that Harris could have done a little bit more and been more imaginative as well. But there's no pleasing everybody. But at the same time, I understand what the Tigers were trying to do here. And I think there's a element of, hey, Mike, how you doing?
Well, why don't you finish your thought? Because okay. I have some as well.
You have some thoughts as well. Okay, well, here's the thing. It's not sexy. Look at Kyle Finnegan's numbers in the second half of last year and this year. They're talking about getting swing and miss guys. Some of them are not swing and miss guys. And there's a couple things to it where I'm just like, you didn't even give up. Like, you have Max Anderson, you have a couple guys that you could have given up. On the flip side, Tigers have six pitchers on the IL in minor leagues right now. Jaden Ham's rehabbing. They don't have the pitching depth that currently right now at all. Excuse me. Which is why when people are trying to, we should trade Torrey Melton. Okay, then who's after that? Nobody. You literally, and now you're going with Charlie Morton now. The thing is, there's two ways to look at this. The Tigers went conservative and they just kept their, hand, like, I don't have a poker hand on me or playing deck of cards right now, and just kept things in little bit. Or they looked at the window and somebody maybe asked for Max Clark or Kevin McGonigal, and they're like, no. Yeah. And there's Chris Brown. And Chris Brown, I'm sure, has some thoughts too. And Chris, by the way, is just joining us from the airport. Chris literally flew in today, and he is a trooper, and so we'll definitely get his thoughts here in a second. But yeah, we'll get to the comments too. I don't want to get to the comments right now because I feel like if I'm going in the comment section right now, it's going to be brimstone and fire at the moment. So, but we'll get to that anyway. But yeah, I don't really know. I think the Tigers could have done a little bit more. That's just my opinion. I think they could have had another bat. We'll just
I appreciate that you are being reserved about this, but here's just, and maybe this is because I am a Detroit sports fan, and I feel like that might go for a lot of fans out there as well. I'm so sick and tired of my GMs being like I got to be the smartest guy in the room. We have a plan. We know better than you. All this stuff. It's never sexy here. Like I'm kind of just over it, man. Like I'm not saying it's always the right move to go get the sexy big name. Like that's definitely not always how it works because
Tigers got Charlie Morton.
Yes,
Yep.
they did.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I
Yeah.
just saw.
Yeah. That softens the blow a little bit, but I'm not asking them to do what the Padres did. The Padres traded these are their ranked prospects per Baseball America that they traded today. Number 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 12, 13, 17, 26, 29, and 3 others that were outside of their top 30. I'm not asking the Tigers to do that. That's crazy. But I'm so tired of us not being able, like I don't see teams that we follow that win championships. And this extends past the Tigers, so maybe that's part of my frustration. It just feels like a theme here in Detroit. And I guess I'm so tired of hearing like, oh, they're hard workers, like they're gonna turn things around because that's a tough city. I'm just tired of all of it. And they didn't add, like, it just, you're right, they could have done more, but I don't think it's like, oh, they have a plan, it's okay. No, I'm not seeing a map to a championship when you're just, I think Scott Harris should just go be the minor league GM. That dude feels like he cares so much about the minors, and that's great. And I understand the importance of that. But at the end of the day, it also feels like after a trade deadline like today, they are completely okay with the results from last year. They're okay with just making it that far and not any farther.
All right, because Corey thinks I'm being conservative and sugarcoating. Look, the bottom line is they could have done a lot more. I don't know what else you want me to say. I don't know. Do you want them to give up guys like Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal for guys who are on rental?
It's not that, Roger. It's just they did. Those weren't the only 2 options. Doing what they did and giving up Max Clark. Like
I understand what you're saying.
There's an area in the middle where I think everybody could have. And I don't know. I'm not a flipping GM, so I could be absolutely wrong. I'm just saying it feels nuts that they went conservative again. I don't know.
But last year they were giving up players. Last year they weren't even in contention in the playoffs, and they made the playoffs out of nowhere.
That doesn't happen. That is the exception, not the rule.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing: look at this in a perspective of the Tigers in terms of player development over the last decade have not developed jack shit. Period. End of story. Okay, so you're the Tigers, and you're saying, "Hey, here's Max Anderson, here's Roberto Campos," and teams are going, no, because they know there's a stink to the Tigers still that they have to get cleared up outside of the big 3. The Tigers they're ranked all over the place. Great. Publicly, everywhere. But Major League executives don't buy it as of yet. If the Tigers if their prospects were so sexy among the Major League executives, wouldn't they have traded more than just Jim Jarvis and, Josh Randall and RJ Salas? There would have been a lot more going off the board, but there's not. So I don't, until Sky Harris speaks to the media, I'm not trying to be conservative. I just don't know what else. Right now, it's just like there's 4 guys right now that are literally just roster fodder right now. And what the Tigers do after that is beyond me. They didn't give up what they want. They didn't want to trade the farm. They went conservative. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks. They still need a bat. Because if they lose one more bat on the outfield, they're screwed. Because then you're looking at Ryan Kreidler or whomever else they have in the outfield. I'm not dumb to that. However, I'm going to sit and wait until the end of the season to draw a conclusion. Because right now everybody's saying these 4 arms suck and they're going to go and they're going to lose everything. Goodbye. The season's over. How are you going to write off the season on July 31st when they're in first place?
I'm not putting anybody in that, Roger. I'm just simply saying I don't see a path to a championship to a team that plays trade deadlines like this. It just doesn't happen. Like, teams get impact guys at the trade deadline. That's what happens, man. And then that's not what happened. These guys could be great in a year or 2. But the problem is we've been hearing that since Scott Harris. It's just the team is winning now. They have the best. They are what? A game and a half outside of the best record in the AL still. It's frustrating to just feel like there was more that could be done, and it didn't happen again. And again, I told you, maybe it's because of the other teams here, and I'm a Detroit sports fan.
Yeah.
But it's just like, holy crap, we didn't get a single bat. It's just nuts, man. Like
that part I agree with. That part I don't understand. Okay, but okay, Uper, go ahead.
Well, let's wait. Sometimes these trades do drag in for about 15, 20 minutes, half hour afterwards. So we'll see. Number one. Number two, Mike, you sound like a lot of people on Twitter, which is totally cool. That those emotions and frustrations are out there completely. For me, let's face it, last year, Raj kind of touched on it quick. They had no chance to build at the trade deadline, right? They were going nowhere. They had the miracle finish. Looked great. So this is really the first time Scott Harris has had a contending team at a trade deadline. And I think some of your frustrations also stem from the Red Wings evidently didn't trade much at a deadline once or whatever. Who cares? Anyway, in my mind, this is Scott Harris's first real time contending at a trade deadline. Now, it's been kind of quiet. There were no sexy names, but I'll be honest. I think it was a little gutsier to do very little in this market because there was a lot of fireworks today, last couple of days with trades, a lot of big names floating around. And Detroit could have dipped into those more important assets that they have in the minors and made some deals and really went for it. And that's fine. But they chose this because they didn't want to overpay. They don't have the pitching depth to move for some of these deals. Raj mentioned the outfield depth. They don't have that either. They had some needs. They addressed the bullpen to an extent. They brought in a starter because they need it. I think that at the end of the day, this team has the best record in baseball. It has for a while. There's nothing wrong with moving forward with some small augmentations that they made. And, once you get into October, I know people are saying that they have to have this bullpen in October, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. They had a pretty anonymous bullpen last year and made it to the fifth game of that series against the Indians, or the Guardians, excuse me. And it wasn't because of the bullpen that they won that game, So people want to get worked up about it. I can't. They addressed it with Finnegan. They brought in some arms, and last year at this time, we did not think Sean Gunther would be getting big outs in a playoff stretch, and he did. So some of these other fellows they got this week, maybe they will too. Maybe it's Rafi Montero's last hurrah, that kind of thing. It's a lot to get worked up about. Personally, I'm happy they're on a 4-game winning streak, and they'll go forward with the guys they have, unless they surprise us in these last 10, 15 minutes.
All right, Chris, what about you?
I'm tired. I was in the Minneapolis airport all day yesterday until 2 a.m. and then I woke up at 6 and flew, and I walked in the door 10 minutes ago. So I don't have the energy to get too upset about anything. It does feel certainly underwhelming. I think is probably the kindest way to say. I wanted Charlie Morton. I'm glad they got Charlie Morton. I like that addition. I talked about it like a month ago, right? Like he's been pretty good since the end of April. And he's got a ton of playoff experience, and that's another guy who can help you. The relievers, it really feels like they just kind of went out and got a bunch of scraps, which is it's unfortunate because when you see, I don't think the cost for David Bednar was crazy or Helsley. I didn't think those were terribly high, but I think to your point, Raj, I do think. And I don't think opposing teams are like, oh, the Tigers weren't good, so we can't trust their players now. I mean, they're going to trust their own scouts. Right. But I do think that some of the players that are sort of that second tier of prospects aren't as highly thought of by other teams as a lot of Tigers fans might think. We talked about before, coming into the year, Max Anderson was 35th on our list because he has no secondary skills. If he doesn't hit a ton, he's not useful. And because he's not, he's like a below average defender at second base. He doesn't have speed. He doesn't walk. He hits for average, and he's got power. So I mean, I thought that they could have traded him. And I don't know who do we know who they traded for Morton yet?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah.
I thought he was movable. I thought guys like Jace Young and Justin Malloy and
Harris, fuck off.
What happened? What did I do?
Somebody said fire Harris. I think Roger's right to react that way. Nobody's ever saying something.
Okay, yeah. So here we go. All right. I will take over from Raj without swearing here. The Tigers over the last year have the second best record in baseball. They're the second best record in the American League right now. Best record in the American League. Am I wrong about that? I don't know exactly. Tied for the best record in the American League. The Brewers didn't make any big additions, did they?
No.
No. Oh, they have the best record in the National League. I guess they'll probably fire their GM too, right? Everything's going wrong with them. Tigers have what? An elite top of their farm system. Didn't give up any of those guys. I don't understand the anger, right? They could have done more. We'll see what happens. Maybe down the stretch, if these guys don't work out, then everybody can go, see, we told you. But maybe the Tigers, get more, like you said, we weren't counting on Brendan Hannafy and Sean Gunther and Bo Brisky last year, and they all got it done. We'll see what Finnegan and company can do.
I guess that's just what worries me, though. Nobody's Roger. I hope you know that I'm not saying fire Harris.
No. I'm sorry. No. I saw the comment in there, and I realized somebody was trolling. I had to walk away for a minute because I don't understand. What am I missing here? We're saying that the Tigers they brought in 4 arms that they're blah across the board, but we're calling it an F trade deadline, and we should fire Harris despite the fact the Tigers are in first place, been on national television 3 times, and suddenly we got to fire the guy. Yeah. What are we doing? That's why I have to step away for a second. I'm just like, I get. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, so here's the unfortunately nerdy, like, logical thing, right? And I think I sort of foreshadowed this to you in a text earlier. And it doesn't have to be this way, right? But the smart thing to do, and this is kind of like a poker analogy. I'm not a big poker player, but if you've got what you think is a chance at sustained success, the smart thing to do is to keep, the most chips that you have, and just be conservative and give yourself as many chances to get to the playoffs as possible. Because once you get in the playoffs, it really is just kind of a tournament, and you never know. Now, obviously, it'd be nice to have better players and more dominant players there in the playoffs. But if you think that by acquiring or by not acquiring big time, closers and stuff right now, you can keep on to your players who are going to help you get to the playoffs next year and the year after that and the year after that. That makes more sense. If you get 5 spins on the wheel at a World Series, maybe that's better than 1. But I think, to Mike's point, you don't necessarily have to go all or nothing. You could try to package some of those secondary prospects and get slightly more. But the other problem with these trade deadlines is we're always just at a huge information deficit. We don't know what was offered, who was offered. Some teams preferred one offer to the other. Who knows?
Like, for instance, when Bednar went to the Yankees, they got a catcher. The Pirates got a catcher back, right? And I saw some people saying, "Hey, the Tigers have Brycinho and Lorenzo. Why couldn't they have made that offer?" Well, maybe the Pirates prefer the Yankee guy. His name is Flores. Maybe in their evaluation, that's the guy they wanted. So we don't know that. You're right.
But here's the thing. There's somebody saying excuses. This is the second time the Tigers have been relevant in the last 5 years, and you're going to tell me that they're going to be conservative? Fine. You go ahead and do that. That's fine. Rays made the World Series in 2020. The Brewers haven't made the World Series since '82. I'm well aware of those 2 teams being conservative and not doing crap at the trade deadline. I'm not saying the Tigers are going to do it. All we're saying is this trade deadline is blah, and people are acting like we're saying, well, Tigers did great. What the hell are you smoking, dude? Good Lord.
Right. I just want to bring this up again. It is not the norm that randos come up from your AAA team and throw lights out to get you to the playoffs, So that's what worries me. I don't want Scott Harris to think that could happen every year, because that's just not something that happens every year. Like, last year it's the exception. It's not the norm. And it's fine if you guys want to move on to something else. It's just, what worries me about sustained success is people keep saying, well, you keep your farm system if you want to to trade for next time. Well, when is the next time the Tigers are going to enter the trade deadline with an almost double-digit lead in their division with damn good odds to make the number 1 overall seed is all I'm trying to bring up. Is when is the time you make trades to get better for the big league team?
Well, put it this way, Mike, I could ask you, do you think the odds of them finishing as the top seed went down particularly a lot today?
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for sticking to your outstanding minor league reports. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks for the great commentary. Appreciate it. Because all we're saying, never mind. I'm not gonna feed it. I'm not gonna feed the troll. It's fine. You clearly have not listened to a single word we've said, so it's cool. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, Mike, do you think that that they are substantially less likely to be the number 1 seed than they were a few days ago?
I have to be honest with you. I have been at work until the second I got here, so I haven't had a chance to actually look at all of the deals that happened.
Sure.
But yes, I do think that. I think that the odds will move and that they are slightly lower than what they were going into this deadline. Yes.
Okay.
If they would have got I'm really not trying to beat a dead horse, and I'm again not saying to fire Harris and not saying this is the end of the world. Let
me ask you guys. Let me ask the audience a question. I'm asking you a question, Mike. Who would you trade right now in the minor league system that is attractive enough to get a player? Ask Detroit Motor City. Everybody who's in here criticizing this. Let me ask you this: who would you trade? Go ahead.
Ham was a popular name that came up.
Who?
Jaden Ham.
Okay. Could have
been an interesting guy.
He's rehabbing right now and throwing 88, 89. Continue.
And nobody's going to want Campos.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Max Anderson could have been an option.
There we go. Anderson, yes. Anderson is the only tradable viable piece, and I'm surprised he's not here. I'm surprised he's still here. I will say, I've said that since day one.
Yeah.
Max Anderson. How you Lee?
If anybody wants him, really.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, the problem. Some of these guys, it's like Roberto Campos. Is anybody really going to want?
Yeah.
Well, you're looking at, I think those three. It's Roberto Campos, Lee, and Max Anderson.
Tyrone Luzardo should have been also traded too. There again, if you guys would listen to the podcast, we have said this. There's names that Tigers should have moved and they didn't.
Right. And I'm not saying it was like, I don't know. I feel like I may have started something I didn't mean to start. It's just, I think people are allowed to be upset because they didn't go in at all. Like, it's crazy to get 3 projects in a trade deadline. 4, really, because you can love what Charlie Morton's done. I mean, he's been good in the last couple months, but like, he's in his late 30s and he still has a 5 ERA. You know,
he wishes he was in his late 30s.
Yeah. Is he in his? Yeah, he's in his 40s.
41.
There you go.
I was just in the process of composing a tweet about this. It's kind of what I wrote back, but since April 29th, it's 71 innings, a 3.8 ERA, 75 strikeouts, 25 walks. Postseason career, 80 innings, 3.6 ERA, 92 strikeouts, 33 walks. I think he helped.
We're talking about Paddock being the project guy because I'm a little bit more worried about him.
Yeah, that one. I don't know. He pitched well in his first outing. Can't argue with that. I don't think changed a ton. I'm not expecting him to do that every time out, just as I'm not expecting Troy Melton to go 7 shutout every time out.
Yeah.
I think ultimately all they've really done is they just added more depth, right? Like, you can argue that they didn't necessarily even add, move the needle on the win curve that much, but they may have given themselves more outs in case some other things go wrong. Which is not necessarily the sexy way to approach the deadline, and I understand that everybody's upset because they didn't go get a big name. But
or even a name. That's the thing.
Well,
Chris,
so I mean, Charlie Morton is a name. He is a ground chuck.
So old that he played backbend with the Rays in the second.
So, but you know what? The fact that they didn't get a bat at all, I think that actually does not shock me.
Yeah, because
we've heard they just kind of like to mix and match, and they didn't want to bring anybody else in who they had to play every game, which is very odd. But who was the big bat that moved who wasn't a rental? Am I missing somebody?
I can't think of anybody really. It's the Ramon, the
Ramon
outfielder from-
Urias.
Yeah, went to Baltimore.
I guess Correa.
Yeah, Korea. Yeah,
I mean,
Ramon Laureano
Yastrzemski
has
on
1 year left, I think.
does
Yastrzemski went to Royals. Is he expiring?
Wait, Yastrzemski went to the Royals.
Yeah, he went right at the deadline. The
Really?
Royals
The Royals-
arguably bought more than the Tigers.
They
So,
did.
Man,
you know,
I wanted Yastrzemski. I even said that. I said on the pod the other night. I said, "Oh, you know what? Yastrzemski wouldn't be a bad idea either." And the Tigers couldn't even get him.
The Royals are looking to make a push, whether it's a push at the Tigers or for the wild card. They're
yeah, they went and they
going
traded for Bailey Falter and they I don't know, they made a bunch of moves that are interesting, I guess. But some teams, like I said, the Brewers didn't do much of anything, right? They're like, hey, we have a pretty good team, that's good, and we have a good farm system, and we'll do with that. Like they traded who did they trade Aaron Imel for the other day? I'm forgetting.
They trade who? I'm sorry.
They traded one of their prospect infielders that we like. I'm forgetting who they traded.
Oh, the
Aaron
kid-
Imel.
Yeah, Aaron Imel. Yeah, that kid. Yeah, that kid's really good. Yeah.
But in any event, they've made some moves. I just think, fans are going to get upset. One thing that's kind of fascinating to me is you can argue that the Tigers are the most, I don't know, with their drafts, that they take more risks than any other team right now. I think you could argue that. They go after they spend all their money on these high school arms who just keep blowing out. They took a high school catcher.
What? Tigers are sending Mikael Ashman, Baltimore, for Charlie Morton.
That's fine. Micah Ashman, he's a lefty reliever. He's all he is a reliever. Like he's been good this year, but that doesn't necessarily mean
True, but I just feel like Baltimore's going to somehow weaponize him somehow. I don't know.
what's his ceiling?
yeah, Orioles.
That's true. No, yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I got his numbers and you know what? Never mind. But it's not Andrew Sears, so there we go. All right, sorry.
Yeah, we like Mike Ashman for sure, but it's I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'm not too upset about any of the prospects that they gave up. But
Jay, I'm a emotional. Look, today I'm not gonna lie. I have a pounding headache. I've been working on this all day, and I'm sorry if I seem a little temperamental. I've just been seeing some of the most outrageous takes out there that I've just been like, you know what I should have done? I should have stepped outside. And here's the thing: I've had insurance has come out. We finally got insurance to pay for our floors. We have new floors. For the first time in a week, I've been able to walk in the kitchen without doing some sort of an impossible leap and round. You can ask Chris. I showed Chris the pictures. My house has been a wreck. My work has been a wreck. I've been a wreck, admittedly. So I apologize, folks, if I'm a little shorter. But thanks. Yeah, woosah. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for everybody watching. I definitely appreciate it.
Sorry, just is Fangraphs down for everybody else?
Yes, I've had I just tried Fangraphs 10 minutes ago. It's been crashing.
The Brewers made a move. It just got announced 3 minutes ago. It's really funny.
What do the Brewers know?
Shelby Miller and someone else.
Oh, the Tigers just made a trade. So, breaking news: the Tigers traded Matt Manning to the Philadelphia Phillies for minor leaguer. Okay, let me try this. Hosewith Quinones?
Quinones is what it looks
Yeah.
like.
Quinones. Like John Quinones.
Josweth. I know Josue's. I've met several Josue's.
Hoseweth. Yeah.
All right.
There he is.
Quinones.
Goodbye, Matt Manning. We love you.
18-year-old in the DSL with
Phillies.
yeah, that's interesting. He's an outfielder, 2 homers, 5 steals, 9% walk rate, 7% strikeout rate this year.
All right, so we traded for a lottery ticket essentially.
I mean, that's a scratch off for sure.
Yeah, scratch off. Yeah.
The strikeout rate is the frustrating thing about this. I would have loved to see a strikeout guy, and that's kind of the whole thing with the bullpen. None of the guys throw strikes,
Yeah, Brosmith.
In terms of the whole thing, do you guys believe possibly that part of what went into this is that they're worried about the unmeasurables, like the team chemistry? They feel that they got a good thing and they just want to keep going forward with it?
Oh, I do. I think that's absolutely a big part of it. Actually, I was kind of thinking how the idea of somebody like Eugenio Suarez would would be coming into a clubhouse like this, if it were to happen, it was a couple days ago. But I do think that that's part of it, because chemistry does matter, but I don't know. Impact can trump culture, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, I think that they always talk about they want to bring in good people too, right? But I don't know, like how many bad guys are there in baseball? Like, he's a great player, but we don't want him on the team. He's going to ruin the culture of the clubhouse. I don't think that would have been the case with David Bednar or anybody like that.
Well, Dennis Santana, that would have been like the one guy. Probably don't get him after he tried to fight a fan in the stands here.
Yeah, not great, but and he didn't get traded, did he?
No, I didn't see it. No, I don't think so.
Well, who knows? Maybe it'll come through at 7:00 tonight. No, I don't know. I mean, like, we've said it and said it time again. They need more swing and miss in the bullpen, and they didn't get it really. Finnegan, for all his experience as a closer, has never been a big strikeout guy, and his strikeouts are going down each year. So that's not ideal. And then you got Montero, who you're going to try to fix, I guess, with his new splitter and get him to stop, giving up walks. And then Sewell is just kind of throw him out there and hope you can get him healthy. Who else did I miss? Cody Hoyer, he's in the minors. Randy Domnak, he's in the minors. It's a grab bag.
Yeah.
They're hoping for what happened last year. A bunch of random guys who've never done anything. Let's throw them in the bullpen and hope for the best. And I'm not going to keep repeating myself.
These are more like random guys who have done things, but it's been a long time.
Well, that's fair. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, Montero has been arguably the worst relief pitcher in the National League for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got a new splitter.
Something on tape that they can emphasize with him, right?
Of course, yeah. They think they can fix him. It's just, man, I wish you could do that in the offseason when you're not trying to make a playoff run. That's all.
Here's the thing. The Tigers are playing Philly this weekend. Sunday Night Baseball. Philly has loaded up to the gills. Dave Dombrowski literally put his dick on the table again and was like, look, I'm going to show everybody what I can do. That's what I am. I'm Dave Dombrowski. Dombrowski is the master of the trade deadline. He's proven it over and over and over again. And I think Tiger fans, he has spoiled Tiger fans, no doubt. And Philly fans right now are just sitting back going, yep, we got it. But they had to load up. I mean, the Philly, because the Mets had a standing trade deadline too. The Mets loaded up as well. The Padres have loaded up. You look at across the board, Seattle with the Suarez deal, everybody. And I understand that's why Tiger fans are frustrated, because Tiger fans are like, what about us? And I wish the Tigers would have gotten a bat. I really wish the Tigers would have gotten a right-handed bat. Why didn't? We'll find out shortly. I don't know. Maybe they'll call up Kevin McConnell in September. I don't know. But this outfield, like I said, if the Tigers feel that they are fine without a right-handed bat heading into the postseason, I don't know. It's right now as it stands. I think after everybody process this trade, we'll see what happens this weekend. They start, a pretty tough stretch, and then they come home to Houston. So they got Houston coming up for the homestand coming up, I believe, August 18th, I believe it is. So this is a tough road here for the Tigers. And here's where rubber meets, I hate to say that cliche, where rubber meets the road. And so if they start weaponizing these guys, and we saw what we saw last year, then we all are, Scott Harris, greatest GM in the universe, blah, blah, blah. If we don't, and the Tigers are out in the first round quietly, then there's a lot of questions. I think the Tigers still need to do more to address the outfield going forward. I still think they need to do something else to address the rotation. Montero right now, Montero's your only healthy starter outside of Morton now. And is that going to be enough? How are you going to use Gibson long? Those are questions that I'm hoping to see some answers for in the next couple of weeks. And then Jay Hen will be the right-handed bat. Yes, Stan. That's probably we'll probably come. So, and I'm with David. I think people are gonna David's giving Harrison Hinch the benefit of the doubt.
But like from what? Like the team can. they had went on one postseason run, and then they have a good record this year. But it's like,
What else do you want?
I mean,
what is Harris has been here for what, 2.5 years, 3 years?
you're right.
They made the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs twice. I mean, and maybe this will be the one where they fall on their face and these relievers don't work out, and then you go, see, you got to be more aggressive. I just think it's one thing to be the Phillies and the Padres and be where you are in your window, which is near the end, basically. Like you got older teams and you're, you got to make moves now. Now you can also spend more money and get younger and stuff like that. The Tigers are right at the beginning. And I know, like, you don't always get these chances, right? You never know. So you can always go right now. But if I'm the Tigers, I've got fourth or fifth youngest team in baseball already, and we've got some really good young players coming up. Now they're not all going to work out, but they should make the team pretty damn good for the foreseeable future. So I don't necessarily hate that they didn't go all in this year. Maybe they'll do something in the offseason where the prices aren't quite as crazy and you can be a little bit more strategic about it. But I don't know. I just think that they're going to try to build like the Brewers and the Guardians and build from their farm system and then make small moves and just keep trying to compete and hopefully get lucky one year.
By the way, I'm still trying to figure out what you're one of the guys that think 8 inches is the length of American cheese slice. I've never heard that term before in my life. What the?
Who is?
No idea. It would have been great if they had gotten one more 7th or 8th inning guy. I can buy into that. Obviously, they didn't like the prices, or they don't see the need like we do. Okay.
No.
It just comes down again. Relievers are so damn fickle. We could be on the verge of Kyle Finnegan's greatest 10 weeks of his life, and we don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is, then they're going to look like geniuses. But if he, comes down with a bad elbow next week, then this is real dud.
Well, Finnegan's like the one guy I think that can make a decent impact. Like, it just, I don't know. Again, I don't want to keep beating this down. Just, I am disappointed.
We don't all have to agree. It's
Sure.
No, and that's fine.
For sure.
I would like Phil Maton. Maton was one of the guys I had, and he went to Texas, and I don't think they spent a whole lot to get him.
No.
He had made that bullpen, 5% better, probably. But I kind of agree. They didn't have a lot of places to go in the lineup, so it had to be pitching. They must not have liked the prices, or other GMs did not like what the Tigers are offering because they're such a top-heavy organization in the minors.
Yeah. I mean, you did hear their name mentioned in a lot of the bigger names. So, I mean,
but that also. Sorry, go ahead, Chris or Mike. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, no, that's pretty much it. Just that is a change than what we're used to. Not only do the Tigers really play it close to the chest, anyways, so you don't really hear much. Like, I feel like you don't usually see their names mentioned. Not only do we see like a Bob Nightingale style, like could be interested, but you did see other. National guys reporting that they were asking about guys. So like you can't fault Harris for not trying. Clearly that like he did at least check in on what seemed like virtually everybody. You saw him on Suarez, on Bednar and Santana, on Helsley, and Maton, I'm pretty sure he looked into. So it's like, yeah, he was looking, and you got to give him that at the very least. That's why I don't think you could just say this is an terrible trade deadline. Like, I hate the whole, like, you don't know what happened, because that's not, of course, we never know what would really happen. But there are signs that they tried, and that's more than what's come out in years past too. So
yeah, they didn't. This is the first trade deadline they added, not subtracted. They traded their prospects, and this is the first time the Tigers have really traded their prospects. If in terms of multiple prospects, and so that's something we have not seen. So that's what I'm saying. Perspective. Like 20 minutes ago, I was angry because it's just some of the comments, but just woosahing it out and everything. It is one of those things where I think that it depends on what they do with Melton too. Like Thomas suggested, very impressed with Melton's arm. There were some suggestions about putting him in the bullpen. Conserve that guy's arm as much as possible. It just really, to me, the Tigers, what Hinch is able to do with his pitching staff has been really good. Alex Cobb, by the way, pitched a rehab. Was it the day before yesterday or yesterday, Walter? And he pitched with some pain, and he still wants to pitch, but is he going to pitch? I don't know. Jose, the other pitcher the Tigers picked up,
Urquidy.
pitched a bullpen session, but we haven't heard anything as of yet. David, thank you so much for the comment. He said good coverage and level headed. Keep it up, guys. Enjoy watching dissect the Tigers and give us insight. Appreciate that.
And Deadly Nitty, a couple things there.
Yeah.
Number one, he said, I'm going to get good seats in Minnesota next year.
Yeah.
I think we'll actually get good seats in Minnesota here in August.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of those fans are going to be upset. I'm going to head up there for a couple of games because I'll be moved to Minnesota by then. We're moving next week. The other thing he said about Chris Paddock looking like a gunfighter, a little bit. However, I also think with his hair and the mustache, if him and Sawyer Gibson Long started a band and got the drummer from ZZ Top, that would be an unbelievable ZZ Top cover band.
Oh, that's a good point.
Ronzo,
Ronzo, I like what he said. What about Drew Summers? I mean, Drew Summers is still back there too. But
one thing I do want to point out, they traded 3 guys they drafted last year, which is just interesting to me for a number of reasons. One of them is like, okay, well, they're ready to move on from those guys, but that those guys had enough value to get them big league pieces. This is a 3rd rounder, a 10th rounder, and an 11th rounder from last year. And I'm going back and I'm looking at some previous drafts and looking at the 10th and 11th rounders, and they're guys that never did anything and had zero value to anybody. So I think there's a little bit of, we could look from this and say that the farm system, or at least the drafting and development, is ramping up again.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. It doesn't necessarily, like I said, they weren't moving mountains with these guys, but they're getting value from their draft, and that's good for me.
Yeah.
True. I mean, have we heard from Alex Lang? Because, I do think that maybe they look at him as a bit of a a trade deadline acquisition in that.
His last outing was a disaster.
Yeah, he only throws one good pitch. It's knuckle curve. Everything else has been kind of shaky at best. And don't forget, also, they have PJ Pullen on the 40-man roster as well. So I'll be interested to see what they're going to do with that. The thing is that ultimately Lang, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to the Toledo game tomorrow, so I'll be able to get some. A reason why I want to go down there too is, Jose's coming back. He, like I said, he pitched a bullpen session, but there hasn't been any updates since then. So the Tigers have a couple guys coming back, and maybe what they'll do is just throw a parade of arms out there to circumvent. I mean, right now the AL Central is just now between them and the Royals, essentially. And
I misspoke. Lang's last outing was not a disaster. It was last night. He pitched or 2 nights ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I lost track. An inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. It was the outing before that was a disaster. So, there you go.
A couple of those outings, I was watching. It's like half of the pitches are uncompetitive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not even. They look like he has a bet on a ball.
Yeah. He looks like a Cleveland pitcher.
Yes.
But
which is one of the unfortunate things Class A and the other guy in Cleveland have done. That is now a running joke all over baseball when someone spikes.
Chris Clark hit a triple.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah. If you want to get that real quick.
Yeah, Class A and Herrera, or what? Who else is over there that in the trouble for it?
Thank you, Jake.
Ortiz, I believe his name was.
Oh, Ortiz, yeah.
You thought last year was pitching chaos. Yeah, this year is going to be a whole nuts of it. But first and foremost, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in this evening for our trade podcast special. Usually we would go around 9:00 tonight, but A, I have softball at 8:30, and B, we wanted to capture everybody's reaction. I should have waited till 9 because I think my temperament would have been a lot better. But that being said,
no, I like the rawness, and that's actually why I came in hot. I held my emotional level as high up as I could just because I figured it just ended. Why don't we get exactly how I'm feeling right now? And that is why I am a little more composed now. Some time has passed. Able to take some deep breaths.
Yeah.
So
and I'm also...
Can they make it 5 in a row tomorrow?
Yeah. Here, and we too brings up a good point here. Toledo has a lot of Toledo and Erie have a bunch of pitchers they have to consider too. So, and don't forget to thank you, Matt. They like and subscribe to our liking our page and what have you on YouTube or wherever you listen on Instagram, Facebook, and what have you. So, thank you again for everybody with the donations today as well. So, really, they. As far as why they DFA Matt Manning, the writing was on the wall in spring training. I mean, I think that Matt Manning, I think he was even surprised he was still here. I really thought
after last year, they literally needed starters, and they were like, you can hang out in AAA, man.
Yeah. So they it's the last of the 2016 draft. Chris, that was the last of it, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let's see. Vest was 2017, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
That's
trying to
it.
think. Yeah, I mean, it was when you look at all the other pitchers that they brought up instead of him. It was kind of we saw it coming. I was mildly surprised that they DFA'd Tyler Owens, but he hasn't looked great this year, and I never thought he was that stellar, but it seems like they're banking on him maybe because he's dealing with an injury right now that they can sneak him through waivers and keep him in the system, but we'll see.
I mean, you know what? Can I give Scott Harris credit? You know what may have been the best trade of today? It might have been getting anything for Matt Manning. Like I realized that it's an 18-year-old that is like literally 6 years away if he's going to contribute, but the fact is I think we all talked about it last year, how we were like, I think Matt Manning's time in the organization's done. And it's been almost a year since we were having those conversations.
Yeah.
And he was still here. So the fact that they were able to hang on to him this long and get anything at all for him, I mean,
maybe that was Nebraska.
I'll give Harris credits for that.
Yeah, maybe Nebraska was doing him a solid. He's like, look, man, I just cleaned house, and here, you can take this, flyer on this guy or whatever. And as far as Young and Malloy goes, I think the Tigers really like Malloy. Here's the thing. Let's just clarify this real quick before we get out of here. The Tigers really love Hyu Lee. That's one of the guys that Harris brought in. So his chances of him going nowhere were slim. Young, I think, proved we were talking about. I think I was talking about this with Jordan on the Eat 'Em Up podcast. Which, by the way, shout out to Jordan for having me on. He showed that he couldn't handle third base, and Chris, we've talked about this too. If he was a third baseman, he'd still be here, and he's not.
Well, I for me, it's that he can't hit, so that's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think with Young, I don't necessarily think that they wanted to hold on to him, but yeah, it's they may still value the chance that he could become something more than whatever was offered for him. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like again, we don't know who they really value and who they want in the system, and who they tried to move and couldn't trade. But I don't know. I mean, I thought that there was a way that maybe some of those teams that were trading wanted some more major league ready guys, and Young and Malloy could have been among them. But it's hard to know. I mean, we could go and look at every single trade and kind of figure out what teams were targeting this year, but I don't want to. I'm tired. I'm so tired that I kept looking at the West Michigan feed, looking for Max Clark's triple.
Your eyes look. I mean, like usually you're like you can tell your eyes are like wide open. You look like That's why I'm trying to wrap this up because I want my man to sleep here. Yeah, because
I thought he was stoned when he first got on.
Yeah,
he just came in and he was
I think
like,
that's the rumor we go with.
Yeah, I thought he was he was straining his eyes or something. And I realized,
man, this is one good deadline.
I had a great time on this deadline.
These relievers, man.
The best player by WAR from that 2016 draft is John Schreiber, who they signed for $6,000.
Wow.
4.5 WAR career from him, unless you count Josh Smith, who they did not sign in the 38th round.
Yeah, it's the 2016 and a wrap. So, all right. Well,
Real quick before we get out of here.
Sure.
The offense has turned it on a little bit. How much of that is Kerry Carpenter coming back and giving that power presence, and how much of it was they were just due to bust out? What do you think?
60-40.
Yeah, but a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I think Carpenter. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. You're good.
I was just going to say, don't forget part C. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks who do not have a great pitching staff.
Sure.
That too.
But anyway, continue, Roger. I'm sorry.
No, and I was just going to say, I think they caught Arizona at a really good time. And the biggest thing, too, was so Morton is going to join the rotation. So thank you, Jake, for filling that in. So it looks like Troy Melton's had been moved to the bullpen. So there we go, per Evan Petzold on that as well. So that makes a lot of sense. You want to conserve. Oh, Jason Beck. Okay. So you want to conserve the Troy Melton, because this is something that teams used to do. You guys, some people may remember this or not, and we've talked about this before. The Dodgers would bring up the rookies through the bullpen in the 70s. They did with Bob Welch. They did with Dave Stewart. They did with a bunch of guys. And that's how they did. They progressively would put them into the rotation.
Earl Weaver, too.
Earl Weaver. Yeah. So there is a lot to do with that. And so
I think that's fun. I mean, that's we might see Troy Melton throwing triple digits. My guess is that he's probably going to stick around 97, 98, which is just kind of weird to me. But yeah, maybe he's the swing and miss bullpen guy that they needed. We'll find out.
By the way, do I shade the stash? Do I keep this or just keep this? Do I put a stash?
I don't know if you want.
I like it.
All right. Yeah, I don't know.
I'd stick with
this. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I don't. I was thinking about this because I got a haircut and then I was shave this, but no. Anyway, do you need to dominate AAA level in order to contribute in the majors? I think there's something to be said. By the way, let me leave you with this thought. Keep it on. No one needs a magical dick. That's funny. Anyway, no. I heard something that one of the coordinators said that if you're dominating the level, that's a good indication. Colt Keith dominated AA. Kevin McGonigal seems like he's gonna be double. He's already doing that right now. When you dominate a level, that's a good sign. Young hasn't dominated the AAA. I mean, he had a really good year last year, but he's struggling. He's consistent. So we'll see. But if he's not dominating, then if he was dominating, he would be here already. So,
Harris said last month that as an organization they view it as important how much time players spend at each level, or he said words to that effect. I mean, but they didn't put any meat on the bone as usual. How much time? Well, how long do they give you, Jace Young? I imagine we're not even close yet, but what does that mean? I'd love to know more.
Yeah, and that's a good question. And I don't know when you do. What do you do with him? When's the long-term plan? I mean, do you put him back at second? Do you keep him at third? I don't know. There's many questions that I think that will be probably solved in the offseason. We'll see here, because they right now on the left side of the infield on third base, they still have kind of somewhat of a problem at the moment, because now, we'll talk about that another day. So like and subscribe to the Tiger Medical Report on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, Instagram. We do have a TikTok, but I have not had a chance to upload. There's a lot of things that we do voluntarily that only one person. And of course, join our Patreon. We have, if you're not a Patreon member, by the way, if you're a paid Patreon member, we have an interview with JJ Cooper of Baseball America. It is excellent. I'm not saying that because we did it, but it was very good. He talked about the Tigers top 30. He talked about on Baseball America why he argued his top 30, and we talked about his time at Tiger Stadium. We had a really good conversation. We went for an hour. We probably could have talked to him longer, Chris. Was that fair to say?
Yeah, JJ, he can talk, and it's fun to listen to, and yeah, he does. He is very happy to be able to talk and write about baseball for a living, and it shows.
Yes.
And so he was a good guest.
By the way, thank you for for everybody who's donated on PayPal to the random donations. Thank you sincerely. That's been awesome too. It's been great, and we appreciate all the feedback we've been getting in between the Patreon and everything else. It's been very good month for us, traffic wise too, as well, views and everything. And again, I would love to get to 10,000 subscribers. I think we could totally do that. I know it's a niche thing, but we do talk about baseball. We talk about the Tigers. So yeah, melt into the bullpen. That's a good way to end the podcast. The Royals doing things. The trade deadline's over. I'm gonna go take some Excedrin, and then I'm gonna get ready for softball tonight. So I'm gonna go and take my frustrations out on bat. By the way, I'm batting cleanup and hitting first tonight, or playing first tonight.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, 5'7". The team manager Greg trusts me with that. So yeah,
Prince Fielder. All right.
I
yeah.
thought you were going to get moved at the deadline personally.
Jake, if you are going to Toledo tomorrow, let me know. But yeah, I'm gonna meet up with a couple of folks down there in Toledo. It'll be my first time in Toledo in a while, and I'm hopefully going to a lot more Mudhead games the last month of the season or so. So keep it close, everybody. We'll talk to you later, and have a good night, everybody.